want to join us? We will start. Next bija. We did Gaon, right? With the heart chakra. Next is which chakra? Vishuddha. Vishuddha. Shuddha means pure, purified. V refers to a very specific higher purity. So it's not normal purity, it's higher purity. Okay? It's the purity associated with when you keep purity of mind also, purity of soul. Vishuddha chakra refers to that purity. The bija for this to happen, for this process to start, is, repeat after me, Cream.
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 Purity starts with purity in hearing. Why? Because what you hear is what you think. If you hear people swearing all the time, if you hear yourself swearing all the time, your mind begins to falter. It goes into a limbo. And that limbo, that process causes the first sign of impurity in you. Afterwards, you start taking up impurity in actions. Why am I talking about sound and hearing? Which house are we looking at now? Which two houses are we looking at now? Third and 11th houses. If you have a problem hearing and you recite this bija, you will regain your hearing.
So, Maya, go ahead.
No, it's okay this morning.
What about tinnitus?
You will cure tinnitus with this.
Really?
What?
Tinnitus.
You are deaf, you recite this bija, you will hear again. I promise it will happen.
Promise.
I have a student who began this. He used to have 2 hearing aids. He took one off last year. He has chronic hearing problem. He's had it his entire life. He took one off last year.
How much
Okay.
time later?
He spent 1 year on this.
1 year. Okay.
These are not small bijas. I am not kidding when I say if you recite Shreem, you will get married. I promise you it will happen. You want to take a relative or family member out of jail. It will happen if you recite Hreem. It will. Guaranteed.
1 day.
Maybe you have to spend half year, 1 year. Maybe 1 week. Who knows? How hard is the karma?
For child.
Aim. You want to have a child. This will heal you so you can have children.
But woman and man.
Both can do it. Both men and women can do it.
You need both.
Because this is for 5th and 9th house. 5th house is children for men. 9th house is children for women. This is healing both. I did this for 3 years and I had a child. I wasn't praying for a child, but that's what happened. So that bija is bringing a child, isn't it? Understand?
Same for problem for about child. For example,
Yes.
if I have
Yes. Same thing. This takes care of everything related to 5th and 9th houses.
How do you use it practically? You just recite it as a bija, or do you have some...
Meditation.
No, yeah, meditation, but just on bija, no, nothing else.
Yes.
Just bija
Just
itself.
bija.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm smart and I add certain things
Mhm.
because I know what bija I can change. Om Aim Namah Shivaya. Om Preem Namah Shivaya. Om Shreem Namah Shivaya. If you know the bijas and you're initiated into them, which you are now, up until the 5th bija, you have been initiated. Sorry. So you can practice these. You can. These are yours. I've given them to you. Just as I was given. The moon symbolizes this bija because we're now speaking of which loka? Let's see. We had Bhuloka,
Svarga loka.
Bhuvaloka, Swargaloka, Mahaloka was over here. Janaloka. The place where if your mind is pure enough, that is where you will go. So the mind is very important for this bija and this chakra, Vishuddha. That's why I was speaking of purity of mind. And it starts with what you hear. What music are you listening to? Isn't it? Think about that. What is the music you're listening to? What is the language you're listening to? Who are the people you're listening to? That will define, first and foremost, your purity of mind. That is why in many spiritual organizations, immediately they will say, to clean the mind, begin listening to bhajans. They just start. They will sing Hare Krishna every day. So that goes in the mind. You must listen to that. It's a separate issue that they start making rock and rap music out of that mantra. I don't think that's a good idea. But it does tell you about the state of mind. What are you listening to? Number one. Think about that carefully. This is also Kali Bija. Anybody who begins reciting this Bija, they can go from being the dumbest in class to the best in class. Most well-educated and academically responsible and a capable person. Okay? I cannot read, I don't know how to pronounce, I don't know this, I don't know how the Sanskrit works, I don't know how to remember the principles. All those things. Cream, and you will master all of them and more. Become the best. Best musicians come from this blessing of Kali. Cream, everything. Guaranteed, it will happen. I'm not kidding. But you must be initiated. Like you are getting initiation today. Next loka is, after Maha, then Jana, the Tapa loka. Tapa loka. Tapa Saturn is sitting over here. Alright. Which chakra is this? After we had Vishuddha, we got Agya Kya. Use the right word. Agya Kya. Okay? So, what is the bija? Recite after me. Hum.
Hum. Hum. Hum.
This bija, resembling this chakra, is supposed to give us the ability to strive beyond our capability. Up until now, we have basically been speaking of how the world is with you and how you can maximize your abilities. But this gives you tapasya. What differentiates the scholar from the experts? Tapasya. You read all the books and you did all the work. You can work beyond any capability. These are the people, they will sleep 2 hours a day and then they'll continue working. That's tapasya. Which houses does this signify? Second and 12th house. So, this implies that this bija is also relevant for family and income. Also speech, yes. It is that bija which binds families together, brings them together. If you feel your family is not connected properly, you're having a problem in your communication, maybe your uncle or cousin or father, or there seems to be some gap in the family is not speaking together, you recite Om and the family comes together. You can unite families with this mantra. And the highest family is the spiritual family, the tradition. Our tradition continues today because of this bija, and the deity, the this case, it would be Devi, is Tripura Sundari. Tripura. She is the one who makes the tradition continue for every tradition. Every tradition. It doesn't matter if you believe in Shakti Sadhana, you believe in Shiva Sadhana, Ganesh Sadhana, Vishnu Sadhana. It doesn't matter. She is the one and same mother who is making all traditions continue. And all the traditions worship her with different names. It is essential that this happens. Even in the Guru Vandana, when we sing to the Guru's praise, there is one line. Mahatripura Saundarya Stavadvayam Gurum Bhaje. We sing that always. Because she is the one which makes traditions continue. Families continue.
Why there is an arrow? Up, down.
Next is Saturn,
Yes.
SAT. 6, and then below SAT, and then
I
arrow
see.
is 8.
I don't remember. Maybe it's a... No, don't worry. Maybe it's a typo. You see on the next page. Ah, yeah. Next page I'll show you.
Those pages.
Okay. So, here we are. Second and 12th house. Tapaloka. So if you have planets in your second and 12th house, you recite home and they become okay with you. So what am I trying to tell you? With any of these houses that have been mentioned, look at the house, see where's the problem, and you'll know what is the root problem also. Recite that bija and you overcome the root problem. Mm-hmm.
So you can in fact put together the bijas and take care of all the different issues in the chart.
You're supposed to. I'll tell you how later. The process, you can do it in a process. Now, next. This one you know. Recite after me. Om.
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 Om. Some people like to say Om. But you're not activating this chakra unless you say Om. And now you initiate into that. This is which chakra? Sahasrara. Sahasra means 1,000. Ra, the additional Ra, means light. 1,000 lights. 1,000 petals. Those petals are light. And it represents the highest loka which was created, Satya Loka. And the planet signifying that is Jupiter. And this house is your lagna. So if you want to purify your lagna, you have to say Om. Maybe there's a problem in the brain. Somebody comes to you and you see a problem in the lagna and you see a disease associated with that. Maybe it's a brain problem. Say Om and solve that. Om solves all lagna related problems. Everybody will say they need that. Everybody will say they have a problem with their brain.
But most everyone will.
Most everybody who's born will have a problem in any house. But Om is for the lagna. It solves all those issues. If you're feeling that your body is not working with you, begin saying Om to yourself. Om, 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 Om. Your body starts reacting differently. It starts listening. Your brain starts waking up. And everything gets solved. Little by little. Everything gets solved. Satya Loka. Now, what happened? We're done with houses. We have no more houses left. But there's more sounds.
Where is the position of Sahasra chakra?
Top of the head. Actually, I'll be exact. You take the top of the head, put 3 fingers, and that's right there. Okay? There's another chakra which is right on top of the head, and another chakra 1 finger above, and Sahasrara is 3 fingers above. So there's a whole line of chakras here. For example, right here is Nirvana chakra. Right here. 1 finger above is Guru chakra. And 3 fingers above is Sahasrara chakra. And I have to teach you Nirvana chakra and Guru chakra in some years' time. Because they're very, very, very important.
You just said it's good chakra.
Yes.
Guru
Yes.
chakra?
Yes, you just.
It's 1 finger above.
So Nirvana, it's the same? Or?
No, Nirvana is the head.
Uh-huh.
Guru chakra is above the head. Sahasrara is 3 fingers above the head. Many people believe this is Sahasrara chakra. That's a mistake. You know, there's this choti portion here, the antenna portion. Some people mistake that to be the Sahasrara chakra, but it's not. This part is called the Bindu Visarga chakra. Okay? This is where normally people enter and leave this world. This chakra here. And it depends on where you have that. You have this whole thing going on, where the twirl. That is where that chakra is. And we enter the world through this chakra. Like our soul entered through this chakra, and if we don't get moksha, it'll leave the same way. If you get moksha, you'll leave through Sahasrara. It's a difference. Interesting.
Our souls enter after birth?
No, they always enter in the first 3 months of conception.
Not,
Always.
not
They
in
don't-
sperm.
They
Souls.
do.
But in the picture
3
of
months
sperm,
before the conception.
No,
Next
no,
to
no.
the body of the.
still
Is it-
Let me be exact. This is a deep concept. First,
Uh-huh.
the soul lands up in the husband, the father, 3 months before conception. He comes. That's when the soul enters the man.
Through sperms, isn't it?
No, man has not released any sperms at that time. He's eaten food.
Yes.
yes.
And he sits for 3 months in father.
Yeah.
Then, 3 months after, the conception happens. And for 3 months, the soul is going around the mother, but doesn't enter the womb. So after 3rd month of pregnancy, then the soul sits inside the womb in the body.
Through the chakra, you mean, isn't it?
Yes, but through that part of the fetus,
Mm-hmm.
not of the mother, of the fetus.
Yes, yes, fetus.
Yes, that's right. Then he enters that. And from then on he stays, or she.
3 months.
So for 6 months the child doesn't know where to go. He's just running around as a soul.
All the body.
No, everywhere. He's around, he goes like that around. For 6 months for 6 months following the time when the soul entered the father.
I'm just curious, then is the soul conscious in these 3 months?
Consciousness just means it's aware.
Aware?
Soul is always conscious. But are you as a soul conscious? No.
What as an individual?
Because you need a mind
Because
to be
mind, yes.
perceiving things.
What as an individual?
But it said like in the womb that the child remembers past lives.
Yes.
It's praying from
Yes.
Lavana Kamat, this time to right? And
Exactly, yes. Yes. Because at that time the mind is not covering the veil of the soul so much. The mind is still very fresh. So then the mind is only perceiving the soul's life experiences. And the air from leaving the womb makes it forget everything. When it breathes air. It's a very interesting concept of cosmology. Very interesting. Because you get to know so many things. For example, this means that if a mother aborts within 3 months of her pregnancy, it's not akin to killing. There are other problems associated with the mother, but it's not the same as killing. Like, you cannot escape karma of aborting, but it's not the same karma. I'll tell you honestly, I'll be very honest, it's not the same.
Do we study this subject?
Yes.
Discourse?
No.
No.
No. Because I'll tell you some scary things. I don't want to scare you first yet. Okay? like what happens if mother aborts. First pregnancy, second pregnancy, third pregnancy, and what happens to the mother. All these
Like
things.
different deities.
Yes, everything, you know.
Like insulting a different deity, or in that
Not,
context, or
not today, yeah. Okay? Okay. Why did we talk about that? Oh yes, Bindu Visarga. Alright. Yes? Next chakra. Now, I have to tell you about this chakra. There is such a chakra called the Soma chakra. Soma chakra. And it resides between the third eye, which is between the eyes, and between Sahasra. In between, about here, there's a Soma chakra, approximately. You can say that where the hairline starts, that's Soma chakra. Alright? Approximately where the hairline is.
So it moves with age.
Yes, it moves. So, now this Soma chakra, it is ruled by Rahu. Right? You noticed, you have 7, now we're adding 2 nodes. This Soma chakra is ruled by Rahu. And its sound is, repeat after me, sound.
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 This sound, this bija, is held as one of the greatest secrets in Shiva sadhana. Because when you know this, you can become a rishi. This sound makes you a rishi. Amazing, eh? And that chakra, which is that Soma chakra, is the place where all the Soma is coming from God and resting before it is distributed in the body. And it's the boundary, if you may. It's like a boundary, a border, where you are on the border between this world and the spiritual world. So who is a rishi? One who moves between those two worlds. This chakra enables you to do it. What is the chakra's problem? The chakra's problem is Rahu. This is a problem. It's a problem and a blessing. Why? Because Rahu is the most mischievous graha in the chart. Most mischievous. He's the worst, honestly. Worst malefic. He is. Because he takes away your innocence. He takes away your innocence. When you are a child and you're learning about the world, your innocence is lost when you are cheated for the first time. Because you learn that you must also be careful of the world. You cannot approach it as innocent anymore. You are skeptical when you learn. Right? You become skeptical. What is this person's true intention? What if I hurt myself on that? What if that which I eat is bad for me? You become skeptical. And when you have skepticism, it blocks learning. You cannot learn. Because every time something, new knowledge comes to you, you look, well, is it like that? Should I learn it? Is it good for me? Is it bad for me? What's going to happen when I learn it? Does that mean skepticism is bad? You of course have to be considerate about what you learn. But that you have lost your innocence to learn properly means that even when God stands in front of you, you'll be saying, are you sure you're God? Isn't it? Doubts. Doubts is the main problem. It's where it starts when you lose your innocence. Even a lady who becomes raped can regain her innocence with this bija. Even that. Sound. You begin to trust a little bit more. And then at some point, even if a person cheats you in the most mischievous of ways, they could not touch your soul. That is sound. You remain innocent. Have you not seen people who are very spiritual? They are like children.
Yes.
You know? They're smiling all the time, they're happy all the time, they like to play, and they like other children very much because they are like them. You know? That is the beauty of the Sound Bija. What a blessing, isn't it?
Rahu should be somewhere in our charts.
Huh?
Rahu should be
Yes.
somewhere in our
Wherever
charts.
Rahu is in your chart, this is the bija which solves that. So, beautiful bija. Among all the bijas, you will thank me for teaching you this one. You will truly thank me for teaching you this one. Because among all the mundane problems of this world, this is a problem which you cannot say is just one place in your chart. It's probably everywhere. Isn't it? Because Rahu is also the cause of rebirth. Now we have two color schemes here. Green and red or pink. And these first four are one step. These next four are a second step. This is Pada 1, this is Pada 2, and this all becomes one long Pada. Long a Pada. Pada. Pada versus Pada. So, with these first four, we are forming the first step, and steps refer to rhythm. You're taking a step, it means you're walking in a rhythm, at a certain speed, at a certain pace. You're spacing your legs at a certain angle and distance. So, these first four sounds make up the first definition of Chanda. And when we have these 8 sounds together, we form the Gayatri Chanda. This is the reason for Gayatri Chanda, because of these 8 sounds. And with Gayatri Chanda, which is the first most natural Chanda, it causes creation. Everything is created from this. Everything starts from this Chanda. This combination of 4 sounds together forms what we call a mantra pada, and is the definition for learning mantras and the effects of mantras. So these 8 chakras which I've taught you are intimately connected with the concept of movement and mantra. And therefore these 8 are also causing movement of the Kundalini. And that Kundalini is moving in Gayatri Chanda. Ah? It's all connected, see? All other chandas, then you'll start asking, what about Anushtup Chanda? What about Viraj Chanda? What are they? I'll say, well, you know, you can walk, and then you can walk fast, and then you can run. Those different paces of movement are just different chandas. But this 8 sounds, Gayatri Chanda, is the first normal movement. What is this movement really? Like you're climbing a mountain, you know? You're moving up, you're walking. That mountain is your Kundalini. You are sitting here at the bottom and you're starting to walk. Little slowly. You're moving at that pace which is called Gayatri Chanda, which is a normal pace. You can also run up the mountain. You get tired because even though you think that the distance between this third eye and this Soma chakra is only these few fingers, we say they are yojanas apart. Yojanas? Millions of miles. Millions. You'd barely walk a few kilometers in this lifetime up these chakras, honestly. And you're doing it with these mantras. So, some say, it's hard to climb. Maybe if I change my angle and bow down, I can walk without climbing. So you do Nama. You go down and touch the feet of the teacher. Please bless me on my walking path. And by keeping that angle where your back is on the floor, or rather flat rather, you start walking instead of climbing. It's hard, take the grappling, pull yourself up. Mountain climbing is much tougher than walking, isn't it? How many of us have the strength to even mountain climb? So, keep that angle flat and walk. Easy. You still have to walk far, but at least you're not climbing anymore, right? Few meters of climbing is, let's walk, right? We can do that with Nama. Nama, bow down. Last chakra. Put your hands up like this. Stretch them and touch the top of your head. Try doing it so you can see how it is. So, where the tips of your fingers are meeting, there's a chakra up there. Right now you're touching that chakra. That chakra is called the Amrita chakra. There's a chakra there. You're touching it. Now you know where it is. You stretch your hands, you touch, you know you've touched it then. Amrita chakra. Now you know why some people, when they do certain yoga poses, they stand on one leg, and then they go up and they touch. And then they start praying and meditating. Why? Because they're touching Amrita chakra. When you touch that chakra, you are purifying Ketu. You're overcoming the negatives of Ketu. And the problem that Ketu causes is, Ketu cannot see. He doesn't have a head. So, when you try to touch this chakra, you cannot see that chakra in truth. You cannot see it. Because, what are you looking for? You're looking for God, and God is not created. So you're letting go of your concept of created versus non-created. And this is the first point which we go beyond the boundary. We go beyond the void, which is this 0 point. And beyond that void there is something. But it's not created. It doesn't have a distinct shape. We can define it with some certain views and ideas, but it doesn't have form. We cannot say that, at least. Everything which has form is still within this universe. And the sound to which we do that is clean.
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 Very good. This chakra, this highest chakra, is the source of all the other chakras moving. All the energy moves because of this chakra. Because it is from there that the water comes down and then makes the Saraswati flow downwards. Where did the Saraswati come from? It came from up there. It started from up there. And when you say clean, you start this movement. Clean is also called the Krishna Bija. And so, for you to start worshipping Vishnu in the Kunda, for 1 year, I recommend you start with clean bija. The first bija to worship Vishnu in the Kunda, which is below even Muladhara chakra, is done with this bija. Start from your birthday and do 1 year. 1 year. Just one.
We have more day
Very
to
suited,
birthday.
Huh?
We have more day to our birthday, for example.
Solar birthday.
Soma?
Solar. Sun's birthday.
Yes,
That
I
means
understand, but it's fast, for example. But
Then wait.
wait.
Wait until birthday. Do the other beaches.
I recite Lean Data Duru at the moment.
So
That's
you started already. Good. Then continue, but do only clean.
Only clean.
No, he received is around my birthday in 2007. That was the first beach I ever meditated on. Jacob
You know? Start with this. All the others will become accessible to you. You start with this. Start the movement. Start the movement. Make it start. You want to jump straight to Shreem Chakra? I want to get married. No. Start with clean, please. Start here. Yes, you have certain issues in your life. These are these chakras. But start the movement so that once you've started, all these other chakras will become yours easily. Because you started.
But I have 11 months, 2 months, too much.
Okay. Well, do the others. They will give effect once this starts. See, what is happening? You may build up, let's say you go to, let's say I want to study something. Aim Bija. Okay, I want my education to be in place soon. So, I will do Aim Bija, Aim Bija, Aim Bija. Maybe I will start studying, I'll get all the background, I'll get all the details, the topics I want to study, everything. Once I start clean Bija, that'll all start following. It'll start moving. You'll build up, you can say you're building up credit with the others. Okay? And it will. All your mantras will give fruit with that one Bija clean. All of them you've ever recited will give fruit.
Should we choose one or some 2 or 3 or do all?
One at a time.
Huh?
One at a time.
One for 1 year, for example. Second one for
Yes.
1 year.
Yes. I know some people, they'll say, one for 1 month, one for the other month. One for the third month, one for the fourth month. Alright. Do clean. You need clean. 1 year from the solar birthday. Okay? You can even start clean now. You can do it. But then when your birthday comes, say, now I'll be fixed for 1 year. Every day at that time I will be doing clean Bija meditation. I promise you, the effects are profound. All your other mantras will start working. Everything will start flowing. Everything will start moving. I promise, because I know I have done this. I've done it. I know what it means to do this Bija. Everything moves. Everything flows. And life is very sweet. Very sweet.
How many times we can choose different time
Yes.
every day?
Yeah? Yes.
Muhurta.
I recommend choose one fixed time. One time. Fix. Settle on that.
Should we clean alone or?
I recommend Kleem alone for now. Focus.
No.
You can add Kleem, Krishna. Kleem is a beautiful mantra. But you, whilst you're doing the right mantra, you risk that your mind is getting distracted. That's all. Focus on this. Because even, you see, this form which I'm referring to as Kleem here is such a high form of God that even saying the word Krishna is still trying to pull him down. It's very high form and is the true form worshipped in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Paramparas. All the Vaishnava Paramparas, they worship this form associated with Krishna. Like everybody talks about Avatar Krishna, they don't worship Avatar Krishna. They worship up here. Start with Bija, then relax, then relax. Alright?
After this one, I think Krishna and
Yes, yes. It's a very nice mantra. Start with Bija. In true traditions, you first get Bija, then you get a nama, then you get a name, then you make the mantra bigger and bigger and bigger. For the purpose of meditation, start with Bija. Because Bija is easier to meditate on. When you can meditate on a 54 syllable mantra, I will tell you, make it as much as you want. But until you can do that, start with Kleem. Okay?
For example, we are chanting right now according to our charts different
Mm-hmm.
Jaimini mantra you gave before. Is this different from this?
This is
teachers?
different, yes. Everybody must do Kleem. Everybody must worship Vishnu in the Kunda, the first Kunda. We are starting Kundalini Sadhana. This is the beginning. Now you will think, whenever a person comes and says, oh, you want to learn Kundalini Sadhana? We'll worship Ganesha and Mooladhara Chakra. And you will say, oh really? And we'll just say, Kleem, Kleem. Any questions? Yes, Just do it for 1 year, 1 solar year. From one birthday to the next, we'll normally time. Okay? In loosely fit.
So how long time? So makes it
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Start with that. Start with that
Mhm.
every day.
Then
Give us
10 allowed him here and then
meditate.
meditate.
How do you meditate? You sit down, preferably, because you want to be resting, relaxed. You begin clean, 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 clean.
Also, something kind of repeats itself in the mind.
It has to sit with you.
So I think, yeah.
Close our eyes.
It's good for you.
Yes.
No mala counting.
No.
No, no.
Time.
And before reciting these the bejas, do we need to do a Dinesh mantra?
No.
No, you don't need to. That's fine.
Just say Jaya Guru and start.
Okay.
Or if you like Om Guru Veno.
Good way now.
You decide. Okay? Now we have the 8 listed by themselves, so you can see the mantra pada.
Maybe to have with the women also.
Video. Now, here's something interesting. These 8 sounds are excluding Ketu.
Yes.
Yes.
These are the 8 Charakaraka. So now you have a bija for your soul. Who is my Atmakaraka? Oh, it's Jupiter. Oh, it's for your soul. I'll add something to this. See, why has Rahu become a part of the Charakaraka scheme? Because if we exclude Rahu, we are only speaking of the body. Stirakaraka. There are 7 Stirakaraka and 8 Charakaraka. So we need to have Rahu so that we are looking at the soul itself. There's an aspect of our soul which is Rahu. The only one who is not part of this world is Ketu. And you've just brought him to be part of your world now with Kleem. Alright? This, on one hand, relates to the Charakarakas individually, based on the Graha, which is the Atmakaraka, or whichever Charakaraka. But what if you are in doubt, and you want to know who is your Atma, who is your soul, and you want to see your form of God, like your Ishta Devata, your personal form of God. You take the house which your Atmakaraka is placed in, and you find the bija of that house. Because when you recite the bija of a house, you solve the problem of that house. So if your Atmakaraka is there, you begin solving the problem of your soul. And therefore, you will see your Ishta Devata. You will see your Ishta Devata. For example, Jens has Atmakaraka, Jupiter, in 8th house. Which bija is for the 8th house?
Hari.
Reem. So, if Jens wants to understand for himself, maybe he becomes in doubt, who is my Ishta Devata? He will start reciting and meditating on Reem. Within a few days, his Ishta Devata will show himself in front of him. Hi, how do you do?
Really?
Yes.
How many,
Nice.
how many days? You say the days?
Did I say days? Within a few days, I said.
Yeah.
I've experienced it normally takes a week. Yes.
You actually see the Ishtada.
Maybe you're not meditating when it happens.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will walk off the street and say, Hari! Or you say, oh, Hari is my Ishta Devata. That could happen. It may not be in meditation. Maybe you are not meditating well enough for God to show themselves in your meditation. Then the person will show up physically in front of you. And will show up physically in such a way where you have no doubt.
But what we can do if it's a man in the street?
Marry him.
No. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. That person is just telling you what is the name.
And then
Just telling you the name. That's all that's happening. So that you're not in doubt. More so they show you a form. Shape, form.
that is when no, it's clear in the 12 Oscar comes
Yes.
many planets. So
Yeah,
it's-
maybe you are in doubt, like who's my Ishtadev? Is it sun, is it moon, is it Jupiter? Then finally you find one Jupiter. Is Jupiter Vishnu? Is Jupiter Shiva? Is Jupiter Guru? Is Jupiter Tara? Is Jupiter... You'll be in doubt. What to do? You do this. Be sure. Okay? Remove all doubts. This is how we do it. Remember we had 9 sounds before, so that means we actually have a scheme of karakas now. 7 for stira karaka. We add Rahu, 8 for chara karaka. We add Ketu, 9 for naisargika karaka. We'll be using this for a lot in the future, so it's good you know this scheme of karakas.
And they follow the same order. Yes, we cut them as.
We cut them here,
From the
but
end.
we have to make this cut only. Yes, we make the cuts at the various times. You're right. Now, with regards to this, you see these 2 parts now. Now we have to get down to earth again, right? Down to the soul, down to earth.
Sorry, can I just ask one question? Do we see the placement in the Rashi chart or the Navamsa?
Rashi.
Rashi.
You want God to show themselves physically
Okay.
to you.
Yep.
I am here in Rashi. I am not there in, otherwise you're asking God to only show himself when you're with your spouse. That's Navamsa. Or in D24, oh God, show yourself to me whilst I'm studying. So when you go to school, God will show himself. Rashi, here and now where I am. Okay? Bring everything back to the Rashi. It's a bit long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just finish this slide. Now, I remember I was talking about walking and feet and chanda. This is the first definition of Hora Shastra. Day and night. Hora, the word Hora Shastra, Hora comes from the word Aho and Ratra. Aho meaning day and Ratri, or Ratra meaning night. Hora becomes the combination of it. And from this we have the 2 feet indicating day and night. So these 2 ways of walking form the entire basis of Hora, Hora Shastra. Our Jyotish is based on these 2 feet. And these 4 sounds for day and 4 sounds for night. Alright? By reciting them, we are also learning Jyotish. We are learning about the concept of day and night. We're learning about left and right, of sight also. But this walking is also specifically in tune with our body. When I put my left leg in front, I'm activating the day. And when I put the right, I'm activating the night. When we put God in our body, we say that Devi, Shakti, sits in the feet. Devi sits in the feet. Because when we worship the mother, we say Gatistwam, Gatistwam, Twameka Bhavani, which means, oh mother, you alone can show me the right path. So what is she doing? She's making you walk in the right path. So, when we put God in our feet, we say, left leg is Tara, right leg is Kali. Left leg is Tara, and right leg is Kali. Because she has to be mother in our feet, right? So, I will say, when I walk, I can do mantra japa whilst walking. So I can do Tara, Kali, Tara, Kali. Oh, Tara, Kali, Tara, Kali. So I can keep walking all throughout the day and say Tara, Kali, Tara, Kali, Tara, Kali. And by saying that alone, I'm sure I'm going on the right path. Now, whilst I'm walking, let's say I have Kali, right leg comes in front. To make that shift, to ensure the balance is such, I have to put my left hand out for me, my right leg, isn't it? Nobody walks like this. At least if they do, it may not look very nice for them, right? Then there's certainly a gutty problem. So instead, that balance is coming from left hand out, right leg. So the right leg is linked to the left hand. Whenever we talk of the hands, remember we're talking about Anahata Chakra, Vishnu and Karma. So we're talking about avatar. This level is avatar, remember? This is not avatar, this is avatar. There's a difference. So, then the left hand becomes Krishna among the avatars. Kali and Krishna are now linked. And the right hand is linked to the left leg. So Tara was the left leg, and the right hand is Rama. Rama, Krishna. Now we can recite. So okay, start over again. So I had my left leg out, that was Tara, so I say Rama. So then Krishna. Rama, Krishna. Rama, Krishna. Rama, Krishna. Right? Rama, Krishna. Rama. If I want to put the two together, I'll say Hare. Yoga. Hare Rama Krishna. So, and this was Krishna, sorry, Krishna. Then Rama, Krishna. Rama, Krishna. Okay? You got that? The brains are also linked to this and in tune with this. When I say brains, I mean right side and left side of the brain. So that the left hand becomes linked to the right side of the brain. And the right hand becomes linked to the left side of the brain. Right?
Opposite for the legs? As you said, right hand,
Yes.
right leg.
Yes, right hand,
So,
left leg.
yeah, and
So the left leg and the left side of the
Side
brain
of
are the
the
same. And the right leg and right side of the brain are the same. It's the arms which are reversed. Right? Arms are the one who are making the reversal. Now, so as a result, the left side of the brain is Vishnu. And the right side of the brain is Shiva. Now, I don't know how you're going to differentiate between those two as to which one you're using when. I mean, it is good to say Vishnu Shiva Japa, but I don't know when you'll differentiate. So, I will leave you to do some walking japa and hand japa now. And we'll take a break until lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.